broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to another Spotlight On. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel, and I'm here with the amazing and handsome Brian Letscher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Welcome.
And I get to be here with you.
Aw,
Huh?
that's sweet.
Yeah?
You are best known, I would say, recently as Secret Service agent Tom on Scandal. Are we not talking about him? Are you embarrassed of what happened?
Personally or as Tom? Am
Personally.
I embarrassed? No, God, you can't be embarrassed of that show or that character.
Yeah.
No, it's just, it's been a lot for Tom recently. So it's very dicey territory when you talk about what he's done in the last, at the end of season 3, and then even I was surprised a couple of weeks ago, the reaction.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago for giving up.
Spoiler. You were surprised.
Spoiler. Yeah.
Think of how we all felt.
Yeah.
That was one of the most heartbreaking moments, I think.
Wow. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, just from a good television standpoint, yeah.
Scandal has become a worldwide phenomenon. People are, they're longing for it.
Yeah.
Each week,
Yeah.
and you are part of that. How did you get involved with the show?
I begged them on my hands. No, it was if there's any regular audition, it was just a regular audition. I went in to see Linda Lowy, the casting director, the phenomenal casting director for Scandal, and it was as far as I knew, it was a guest star. It was that one scene in season 1 where the president wants to leave the White House, and myself and Hal negotiate with him to let him leave the White House, but only under certain conditions, because at this point I'm still strictly SSA Tom.
Yeah. And
that was it. And we had a great time shooting that scene. A phenomenal time. And then I came back for one more, I think a yes sir at another episode of season 1, and then it just kind of grew from there. Little bits here and there. In season 2 I was, I don't know, in a handful or so episodes, and then season 3 clearly it is when it kind of grew and changed, and all of a sudden I was in B6. Yeah.
Right.
So that was it for me. I've been on the ride with you guys. What is going to happen next?
Yeah. So you didn't know. I know that you only get the script a few weeks ahead of time.
No.
A few days ahead of time. That's what I meant.
No.
That's what I meant. You hear it the first time at the table read.
Yeah, you get it first time at the table read. And so you're as surprised as everybody else when you're reading it, what's happening, which is a whole nother event. And then you're usually shooting shortly after the table read. There might be a couple days. That episode will start shooting the next day or a day after that or 2 days after that maybe. So that's it. You got some time to digest what's going on, go home, work on your stuff, and come back when it's your time. So
you didn't know that you were playing Tom with this secret?
No.
At no point did they say,
no.
You're Tom, but you have a secret?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I certainly not with Tom. At that point, I think it was evolving who Tom was, what was going to happen, where he fit, if at all, and thank goodness it did. But no, none of that stuff was told to me, which I think is, as far as I know, I don't think it's told to anybody, which I think is really smart.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing about this when I was a much younger actor, that, wow, you don't know what's going to happen over the season to your character. How can you decide how to play things? But these writers have been around for a long time, and they've seen, if you know, it's really hard not to let that seep into what you're doing. And when you don't know, you can only play the moment in front of you. So they get a very truthful read on exactly what's happening, which I think is smart.
So last we saw of Tom, he was getting taken into custody.
Yes.
And so we have no information
Cuffed and stuffed.
We have no information about what happens to him. I'm going to straight out ask it. When is Tom coming back? Not if, when is Tom coming back?
Yeah, that was good. That was really well done. I can say that he's coming back.
Yay!
That you have not seen the last of Tom.
Right.
I think that was tweeted the other day. People saw the back of my head in the promo for the upcoming episode. So I have done a little more. Lest I suffer the same fate as Tom, I can't say anything about
just that he's
exactly what's happening. Yeah, but he's back, and the repercussions of what he's done continue to affect him and the people around him.
Well, I know that I used to, every time we see Tom in a hallway, I was like, ooh, Fitz and Olivia are getting together.
That's right.
Like, that was the sign.
He's guarding the love nest.
Yeah, that was the sign every time. And it's this last time I was like, where is he? Where is he? No, this isn't going to end well. That's how you know they're not going to, they're going to fight as opposed to other things. Because Tom's not there.
Well, yeah, but even all that's changed.
Yeah.
I mean, the president now knows. Tom's not, he knows what I did.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know, he knows who I said ordered me to do it. That's the big question.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to be in front guarding his door in the near future, given what he knows about what I did.
But is Tom going to be back in with the Secret Service?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
That one I can. That's just like the writers only giving you the script right before the table read. I honestly don't know.
Oh, I need to know.
What's gonna? So do I. Believe me. But I get it. I get that question and that feeling of like. I think especially over the last this season and the end of last season, where I really got to know Tom because there was some actions to get to understand him.
Yeah.
Man. I'm gonna have a little moment here. When I read that what he did to his son, and when I read in the scenes with Tony, I hadn't quite realized all the episodes I'd done with Tony.
Yeah.
That it had really added up to caring about that. It was tough.
You guys are friends.
It was tough
behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, Tony's a great guy.
You guys are tweeting all these pictures of you hanging out.
Tony said, well, we were hanging out. We were live tweeting the episode, and we took that forehead to forehead shot. Tony's a great guy. You can't not enjoy being around him. Yeah.
I want to talk about the scene that was incredibly difficult to watch of Tom admitting who ordered him, quote unquote, being interrogated by Rowan.
Yeah.
How was it shooting that scene? It felt. The intensity was felt through the television on my couch. It was an amazing scene, difficult to watch.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
it really is, because certainly the intention was that. And I mean, as with everything, it starts on the page. It's there. I think what Scandal does really well is set up those moments. Again, we saw Tom working for the president for a long time. Aiding him, helping him, not only with the affair, but with anything else, guarding him. He was there the day he was assassinated. Not assassinated. Good Lord, and that was not a slip of the tongue. Trust me.
The day he was shot.
The day he was shot. So yeah, I think again, the aggregation of those feelings and those scenes and those episodes come together in that moment. That he's betrayed this guy. And also he is about, Tom was about to say a different name until that door opens. And Rowan, as much as I still hold on to Tom has a backbone, he had to survive that day.
Right.
I had to survive that room. And the only way to survive that room was to give up Jake Ballard. In my mind.
Yeah.
But I still believe Tom has a spine, a backbone that hopefully we'll see in a different way. I don't know. But the point being, when Rowan walks in that door, when Joe Morton walks in that door,
Yeah.
he's a force. And I was in a real bind because it was Jake had asked me one thing, and now I know the president's right there, and I know the only thing I have to hang on to is Rowan at this point. That's it. Or I am going to be erased from this planet, and no one's ever going to know what happened to me. And I don't want that to happen. As much as I like Jake more than Rowan, I have no choice. And again, that's what I think they do such a great job of, is making these characters make a very difficult decision. That's really, I'm a writer as well. I fancy myself a writer, and that's not easy to craft these, crossing lines. And then when they cross and there's a person sitting right in the middle and they've got to make a decision, it's great drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing show.
Right? And isn't Joe unbelievable?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I had wanted to work with him for so long to do more.
Yeah.
And then when I read that scene at the table, and
you regret that every moment. You're like, I don't want to work at this anymore.
Oh, God, right. Yeah, but he's everything you could hope for as an actor. He gives you so much. He's so, he's there. And then knowing Tony and Jeff were behind the glass was a whole nother thing, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you said you're a writer, and I know that you and your brothers are working on a project.
We are.
Tell us about One and Done.
Oh, God, One and Done is hilarious and sweet and real. My brother Matt wrote it with another guy, Nipper Knapp, who's a terrific actor as well, and Matt directed it, and I play one of the four, what's called the gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Juan. We are the four guys who decide to bring our 3-on-3 basketball team back together because we're in our 40s. We're kind of looking around. We've got certain things in life taken care of together, and you have this moment of, you might call it midlife crisis-y.
It's a little young for a midlife crisis.
A little bit, yeah. It's more, but I think the midlife crisis comes younger these days than it used to.
That's weird because we're living longer.
It is weird. Maybe we'll have two of them.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be but I think that I think stuff gets accrued a little faster. Stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's really, you have that moment when you get a little bored, when you got your family, you've got your, you've made a home for yourself, and you've got a living going, and then you look around and go, is this it? Which is a horrible thing to say when you've got like your kids and your family in front of you, but it happens. Yeah. And I think that's what happens is where is the game? Where is the drama? Where is the freshness of a moment, which sports brings you, right? And so they decided to get their team back together. Matt, my brother Matt, whose character's name is Matt.
Of course.
He's the driving force behind their reuniting. And then I play his brother Luke on the show, and we are estranged in the pilot. We've gone very different ways in life, and the closeness that we had when we were younger is definitely gone away. We've drifted apart, and but it's really funny. I play an aging athlete, which is not a stretch at all.
I was gonna say, didn't you play football?
I did. I played football at the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you coached
Go Blue.
as well.
I did coach.
Yeah.
I coach. You've done your homework.
I have done my homework.
I did. I acting's like a third career for me. Acting and writing.
Third career.
Yeah. I coached college football. I graduated with an economics degree.
Okay.
I know, which is important I say that because I did get a real degree. And I played college football, and then after I was done playing, I went and coached at Wayne State University, first of all. So that was my first coaching job when I was 22. And then I went to Eastern Michigan as a graduate assistant, Indiana as a graduate assistant, back to Eastern Michigan as a full-time coach, the wide receiver coach and the recruiting coordinator. And it was a lifetime ago, but I was going to be an NFL head coach. I mean, that is what I was going to do.
Yeah.
That's all I did for 6 years. And then I kind of thought, I think I need something else in my life. It's a very insular world. Excuse me. And I moved to New York City and knew I maybe wanted to act. I'd taken some acting classes in college. And
your brother had been acting.
My brother, Matt, had been acting. That had been his thing. My thing was sports. His thing was acting. And he was in L.A. He'd been in L.A. for a long time. Was having a very successful career. And I'd done some acting in college. I'd done a sketch comedy show in college when I was done playing football my senior year. Yeah, which was hilarious because I was like 240 pounds and just like a neck like this. And I don't know how funny I was, but they hired me. And then in New York, I started taking classes and got a soap and then got another soap and then got a play. And the play was actually the thing I had another career. I was in the internet world. It was crazy. And then I got this play and had to quit my day job and I did.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then I've had a series of day jobs since then until I didn't have to.
And you've been on, I want to say pretty much everything on TV. You were on SVU. You were on NCIS Perception.
The journeyman career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently on Grimm.
Yeah.
You did a 2-episode arc. 2-season arc. A 2-episode arc.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Norberto.
As a nameless character.
Yeah. Well, he had a
name.
It
It wasn't his.
That's right.
He had a name.
He's a spy. I tend to play spies and assassins.
Yeah, you have this, I don't know what to call it. You play military-esque, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't.
Military
in general or on Grimm, you're saying?
In general.
Oh, yeah.
You were a Marine on NCIS.
On NCIS Los Angeles. I was Marine.
Yeah.
On NCIS, I was Navy.
Right. Sorry.
Right.
I apologize to the Marines for mixing that up.
You definitely don't want to get those two.
I know. I apologize. Please don't hurt me. I apologize.
No, that's true. I have done, and then Secret Service.
Yeah.
And then on Grimm, I play
a spy.
It's a spy. He's a corporate spy, though. This is what I loved about the Grimm character.
Yeah.
Is he was, in my mind, a genius spy. He used his brain. I turned into an octopus and suck people's brains and their knowledge and leave them an empty vessel on the floor.
Right, of course.
But
as one does.
We all have to make a living. Okay. But I love that character because he was. Yeah, I just felt there was a sharp intelligence, which I also feel with Tom, actually, on Scandal. But there was a lot of ways to express that on Grimm, which was, I found, quite a bit of fun. Yeah. You
don't have a history in the military or government employee of any.
Not that you know of.
Right? After all of this, I'm like, oh, he has some scary... That face. Stop it, I'm blushing. So, Grimm, where were we?
Well, I want to finish on One and Done, though. Go to oneanddone.show.com.
Yes.
That's where you can find this.
Right.
The pilot is up. The full pilot is up. And I don't know if I should... We're very close to funding the first season, which has been a Kickstarter campaign, which is still going. How
long do people have for the Kickstarter? When does it end?
I want to say November 6th or 7th.
Okay.
So we're very close.
Yeah.
But you can watch the full pilot. We shot that. Matt shot it, cut it. I think it's hilarious. Go watch it if you like it. Kick in some money on Kickstarter. One and Done. And we'll get 6 more episodes, a full season of the gospel.
Yeah. And the plan is to have it a web series?
The plan is to do a web series. I think my younger brother Aaron is a producer on it. Aaron comes from the internet world as well, technology and marketing. The three of us have wanted to work together for a long time. Matt and I have been creating our own content. We're both produced playwrights. We've both written pilots together and screenplays, and we both, individually and then collectively, we're thinking, all right, how can you take advantage of this new technology and this new distribution platform that's out there and make our own content? But we didn't want to make 5-minute sketchy videos, you know?
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, well, anything that's going to be online, it's got to be less than 5 minutes. And we want to tell stories, you know?
Yeah.
So we're experimenting with that. how long can stuff be and tell a story? How short can it be and tell a good story? And you can put everything up online, and you can put it up as much as you want.
Yeah.
You can put up 2 episodes a week that are 15 minutes, or you can put up 130, So that's what this is. The pilot, I think, is 16 minutes. And then I wrote and shot my own pilot in the spring that right now is 17 minutes. So that's kind of where we're experimenting.
Is that available online as well?
Not quite yet. We're going through a final edit right now, a polish on sound, and actually Stoney Westmoreland, who plays Hal on Scandal, stars in it with me. We play. It's called Maple and Malone Private Dicks. We play 2 private detectives in Santa Monica who can only solve cases from the time we drop our kids off at school to the time we pick them up. So it's it's funny. He's hilarious, and Stoney's great. But
so again, a private detective.
Right, but this is more of a bumbling one. Maybe not, I heavily influenced by Abbott and Costello, who I loved to watch as a kid. Yeah. So it more fits into that than stabbing someone in their neck with a pencil or whatever else, a real assassin might do.
Right.
Yeah.
I have decided that you were secretly some sort of military intelligence before you became an actor. I've decided that is out there, and that's what happened.
And of course, I can't tell you if I was.
No, of course not.
Right.
But
the answer is absolutely not. Out of complete respect for the people who really do that. Right. No, I'm simply an actor.
So back to Scandal, the amazing phenomenon that it is, has really changed the way television and the TV actors interact with their fans. Yeah. I want to say that Scandal and Pretty Little Liars alone have changed that world. Yeah. I think everyone else is now jumping onto that. But you guys live tweet every episode. Yeah. Both coasts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because they say Scandal's the show that Twitter built, I mean, clearly there's other things to it, but
right. It's also brilliant.
Yeah. Completely brilliant and amazing acting on that show. Given the material of those actors, and this will be a whole nother discussion, but the material that the actors have week to week and what they do with it is stunning. And again, I think that's a tribute to Linda Loewe and the casting, and they get a lot of theater actors, people who can handle the language and the moves. But in terms of Twitter, it's a hard-working cast too. It doesn't sound like it's that hard work to be doing that, but it's a lot. But you love it because it is a chance to directly talk to the people who are watching your show in real time as the show's going on. It's pretty cool, and I think the cast on Scandal views it as a great opportunity, East Coast and West Coast, to talk to the people who have made this show. Yeah. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Has there been any hurtful words since the big Tom incident?
Nothing for real. I think a couple for real, where you really felt like 4 or 5 tweets coming that were nasty, but not a lot. I gotta say, I have been unbelievably grateful for the audience, and people definitely voice their opinion, and I'll try to acknowledge that I don't love it either, as a right. person who's watching it or doing it. It wasn't easy to kill Jerry Grant, or give up Jake. I mean, I get that there's feelings around it, and at the same time, you try to make a joke to soften the blow a little bit. But everyone's pretty. I love what I've found is the boundaries there. People they have feelings about the show, and then if you tweet a couple times back and forth, there's a smiley face emoticon or something that it's a show. I think that may not always be the case. We'll see. Yeah.
Is there something you're trying to tell? Something's happening?
No. I was thinking more of like when Scott Foley came on the show, what he got for getting in the middle of Fitz and Olivia. He caught some real stuff.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Fitz and Olivia.
I know. So, I don't know.
Yeah. The Jake fans are going to kill me now.
They are. They are. Yeah, that's that thing is... Whew. Just the way the season opened with them on that beach, and
it
Because when it's in Washington, it's one thing. You see them, she's back and forth, she can't decide, Fitz can't decide, Scott, Jake can't. But then just to see them on that beach like that, standing in the sun, you're like, oh wow, that's real. That's like, that's what we all dream about with the person we love, right?
Yeah.
The moments on the beach. Her and Fitz haven't had that.
That one night in Vermont.
The one night in a house that wasn't finished, sleeping on the floor with some
That's
fire.
romance.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah. There's everyone. Like I said, everyone gets put in their spot where they've got to make a choice.
Yeah. Well, so I want to hear about a comparison between working on Grimm, where you were coming in for a few episodes, to the family that you've built on Scandal.
I mean, both great places to work. Scandal, what was really continues to be fun for me is to, and I think I had a little different experience because I'm not a regular. I grew in that show, as it went on. So I got to do a lot of watching, just sitting back and watching how it went without necessarily being in the eye of that storm as it grew. And there's just a huge appreciation for that cast. They're so kind, so gracious, so talented, hardworking, and none of that has changed in my eyes, in my experience, since the show started, which is pretty impressive, I think, because everyone's had quite a bit of success and fantastic, and works just as hard, just as engaged, and just as kind. So that's been really cool. And I think, there's a fun sort of earning your stripes on that show, where you get you get bigger scenes and you handle them, and there's a real feeling of, all right, you're with us, let's do this, because it is a huge challenge. The dialogue and the emotional moments that you're put in on that show. So it's hard to compare. Grimm was great because you can walk into a place where you're leaving in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I knew Norberto Barba, who's one of the executive producers. He had done Criminal Intent. I don't know if you saw, I played Diego.
You've been everywhere.
A rent boy on Criminal Intent. I set up Tom Arnold. Do you remember that episode?
Yeah,
Did you ever see
course.
that? Yeah. So Norberto was the EP on that show, and so I knew him, and he was at Grimm. And again, a terrific, kind, amazing cast. And I had a bunch of weird coincidences on that show. Jacqueline, who plays Trouble, is a University of Michigan graduate.
Right.
She had just come from Michigan. I'm a University of Michigan graduate. So we had this, and a lot of my scenes were with her.
Yeah.
We had a great connection. The directors were Norberto and a guy named Terrence O'Hara, was phenomenal. And you're in Portland. You're in this really cool, kick-ass city, with with a day off here or there, and so it was a great experience, and also to play that kind of character. I'd never played a sci-fi supernatural character, which was totally different. So it was great. And then and it's over. You're kind of like an aunt with kids, with your, an uncle with your brother's kid. You just get to give them back and wave and go, okay, have a good time. You keep doing the heavy lifting. I'm glad I got to come over and play, and now I go home.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you said you'd never played a sci-fi fantasy character.
No.
Are you a sci-fi fantasy fan?
More and more so now.
Yeah.
And that isn't because of that. I wrote a show called that right now is called Super Guy, but it is about I've been writing this for a couple of years. I took a break from it, but it's about a superhero who is never ages, but is aging, is feeling the effects of never aging. All his friends are dying around him. He's just lost his wife. He's really in a bad spot emotionally. So for that, writing that show, I began to watch a lot of superhero, sci-fi, supernatural stuff to learn how to write in that world. So it's become something that, I had never really watched Star Wars. I had
blasphemy.
I know. I don't even.
I hope
wanna say
the fans need to breathe.
But I have now. Okay, I have now, and I've watched a lot of those shows now and a lot of those films, and have become a huge fan. I totally get what people find so interesting about it, and am absolutely hooked. Even stuff like I watch The Walking Dead now. I don't think I would have watched The Walking Dead before.
Really?
Yeah, I for whatever reason it wasn't something zombie, but now can't wait for The Walking Dead every Sunday. I'm on it, including zombie movies, and also I'm now writing a genre screenplay, which I never would have written before, a horror thriller. Never would have thought to write that, but no, totally digging it. I'd do another show like that in a heartbeat. What are you asking next? See.
I was gonna say, what else are you working on? What else you got?
Oh gosh, a lot of writing projects. I mean, hopefully. I just shot an episode of Hawaii Five-0, which was not supernatural in any way.
Were you a soldier or a cop?
No.
What?
I know.
Mind blowing.
I know. I played a dad and a husband.
Ah. And
yes.
You are a father?
I am a father in real life, yes. Yeah. So there was... it was wonderful. I mean, you go to Hawaii, it's never a bad thing to shoot, but it was a nice break from bad guys. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not a bad guy. Yeah. We'll see. But he's not military. Yeah. I know that.
Aside from military-esque, you also play guys who seem like really good guys.
Right.
Like they're like, I'm just a really nice, really good guy. And then all of a sudden there's a twist and they're terrible.
Well, who?
Let's see. In Perception, you ate your friend.
I did do that. I did. But that was you had to be there. It was in the moment.
Yeah.
We were in, some Caribbean island South Pacific island.
Shall I go on?
That's true. More. I know. I think, I think that's combining maybe, the all-American look with, that's what people aren't suspecting it.
Yeah.
That's what you want, right? You don't want the killer who comes at you like this going,
that's true. You look
I'm going to kill you right now.
You're very calming, and I trust you. Oh. That's never going to end well.
No. No. That's the Midwest. I'm from Michigan,
Okay.
I've hopefully held on to some of the openness, despite 8 years in New York and 8 years in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got One and Done. The Kickstarter is ending soon. We've got an episode of Hawaii Five-0 coming up. I
think it's going to air in January, maybe.
January.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you haven't seen the last of me on Scandal.
We better not have. As soon as Tom was taken off in cuffs, I was like, all right. He's alive. We're still good.
Right?
Okay.
Me too.
We're okay.
That makes two of us. Those table reads, you're literally trying not to flip ahead to see if you've survived the episode.
Yeah.
I'm just writing a bunch. I'm working on Super Guy. I'm finishing that genre picture, the horror thriller that I would love to have be a part of what Matt and my other brother Aaron and I are doing. That would be terrific. So it's something that I feel is a shootable budget, couple great roles. I think they're great roles. Again, trying to really learn from what Scandal did, which is take a main character and put him in a position where he has to make some really difficult decisions. Also something I learned from watching The Walking Dead. I think they do a good job of that.
Yeah.
And then I've got a play I want to write next. I've got a play that I cannot get off my brain and clawing to get to, but I got to finish these other things first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be? There's so many amazing shows out there right now.
Yeah.
What would be your dream next gig?
Oof. You're assuming that I would, if for whatever reason Scandal wasn't.
I don't mean instead. I mean in addition.
Thank God.
No.
All right.
Whoa,
I don't want to
whoa.
leave Scandal.
No, I meant like Grimm and Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't handle Tom not being on the show.
I like to hear that.
I can't.
That makes me very happy to hear.
I'll tell you my hopes for Tom later. But
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful.
I can't deal with Tom not being on the show.
Yeah, there's so much good television on. I think I was telling you earlier that I binged on the plane back from Hawaii. I binged on Silicon Valley and Fargo, and as I was watching both of them, of course, daydreaming about being on both those shows. Phenomenal. Silicon Valley. I was crying laughing at that show. So good, so funny. And Fargo is, wow, chillingly, just great performances. Yeah. Martin Freeman is amazing. Billy Bob Thornton, incredible on that. And I can't remember her name because I've only watched the 3 episodes that were on the plane, but the woman who plays the deputy on that show is unbelievable. Yeah. Anyway, so those 2 shows for sure I would love. There's a ton though. I enjoyed Constantine after watching Grimm.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Like the darkness there. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. I'm available.
That scares me because Tom can't go anywhere.
I don't want Tom to go anywhere either. Believe me, that's the caveat. Yeah. Available unless I'm there. You don't, you don't ever want to leave a show like that. Again, I want to do more and more and more and more. I will be greedy about Scandal and have no qualms about it.
As you should.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Scandal.
I know.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a blast.
Agreed.
For those who don't know, why don't you let them know where they can find you on Twitter and give us the one and done what URL again?
Right. I am at B Letscher, Letscher. That's on Twitter. I'm at Brian Letscher on Instagram. And One and Done is One and Done Show. That's the URL, www. One and Done Show.
Spelled out.
Spelled out. One and Done. On Twitter, it is One and Done The Show, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And
Wonderful.
Of course, you can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. And on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.